children, and particularly for our sons. But I really want to just back it up just a little bit if I could, and I don't want to take too long, but I do want to frame this the right way. Whether it's higher crime rates, bad outcomes from health and not having access to health care, poor schools, neighborhoods that are crumbling, the inability to connect people to jobs that are there, or the creation of jobs. I would just say this, and I want to frame this up the right way. The other day I was watching a panel that Senator Lindsey Graham was being interviewed in. Senator Lindsey Graham is a senator from South Carolina. He's running for president of the United States. And of course this weekend, because it's the 4th of July, we're hearing about terrorist threats. We're hearing about ISIS, or ISIL. We're hearing about, Syria. We're hearing about Afghanistan, Iraq. And when the issues of national security come up, it's only, national security is always talked about in protecting ourselves from folks from without, who might find a way to get over here and hurt us, right? And as a consequence, the nation starts talking about, look, we've got to go do something. And Senator Graham said, however much it costs, however long, until we can protect the streets of America. That's what he said. And that's his doctrine about making America strong overseas. Well, I want to just say something about this. National security, as opposed to foreign affairs, is about two things. It's about protecting us from folks over there, and it's about protecting the homeland too, right? And so what I wonder is when somebody in Washington is going to stand up and say, we are going to have a surge, no matter how much it takes, no matter how long it takes, no matter how much it costs, to invest in things that will make us strong. Now, we already know what's going to make us strong, right? When each of the 300 million Americans has access to health care that makes us healthy, and a good education that makes us smart, right? And the kind of security we need for police officers to protect and serve, when we have that kind of investment, smart mayors like this will be able to work with communities like here and be able to redirect those resources and make sure that we all stand up as one country. Then we're going to be stronger and nobody's ever going to challenge us. And so this is not about either or, either protecting ourselves from what's happening overseas and making sure it doesn't come here, or making us strong. In America, we can actually do both. We actually can do both. And mayors, what we're struggling with, and mayors, I don't mean to speak for you, so if I speak out of turn, just slap me on the side of the head. What we're struggling with is finding the resources necessary to rebuild the institutions that when you plug personal responsibility, faith, family, ministers, neighborhoods, moms and dads, coaches, when you take that piece and you lay it on top of massive investments in human capital, then we will get to a place where crime gets easier to solve. So specifically on, and I'll be quick on this, we have a major problem in this country on the streets of America, not in all neighborhoods, but in some neighborhoods, but they happen to be the poorest, and they happen to be where education is tough, and we have too many young men who are being killed on the streets of America every day, and we need to figure out a way to make sure that everybody's safe, irrespective of race, or irrespective of where you fit on the economic ladder, and I think we're struggling with that. You're seeing an uptick this year in all of our cities in murder. And I just think it's a really complicated issue. We've got to be willing to talk about it. It takes you places that are uncomfortable. And we're not great about, having this discussion because it takes you into procedural justice, criminal justice, race, whose fault it was, whose responsibility it is. But unfortunately, we see too many, they get the same text messages I get. Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry to tell you that there was a shooting last night and somebody was dead and they fall into a certain category. And that goes on and on and on. I call it the relentless drumbeat of death. There's way too much of it, and we've got to figure out as a community how to address it and how to really say it's important to get that right, because nothing else will get right if that doesn't get there first.